Good evening. If I could call this meeting to order, if we could please start with a moment of silence for prayer or reflection. Thank you.
First up, we have adoption of the agenda.
Any additions? Seeing none, we'll adopt the agenda.
Next, we have item 3.1 on page 3. You'll find minutes from our last meeting of November 5th for adoption.
Any errors, submissions? Okay, seeing none, we'll accept them.
Moving along now to reports, item 4.1 on page 8, you'll find the Administrative Committee meeting of November 7th. And this is a tender for service rig services for information.
I'll move the report for information.
Second.
Any questions, or Councillor Turnbull?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As always, I'd like to be able to tell our taxpayers when we see we're spending a substantial amount of money here, 1.65 million, is that this is the part of the growth strategy that we're looking for oil to offset our losses in natural gas. And so we do have a budget for that. And so hopefully we can come back to you in a few months and tell you that we've hit that payday. So I just want everybody to understand that as council, when you look at these numbers, we don't just pick them out of the air. This is a growth strategy that was put forward by our management team, and so thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councillor McIntosh?
Thanks, Your Worship. Just a question for the CAO. Any concern by the fact that there was only 2 bids on this tender?
Go ahead.
Through the chair to Councillor McIntosh. We have no concerns because these are probably the 2 of the most elite people that can service in those areas. And because of their location, we split the areas, so they're more strategically located. And they're within the areas when they need to respond to our needs at the time. So we think this is the best place to have these 2 and their location.
Good. Any other questions? All right, if we could vote. That was unanimous, thank you.
Our next report's item 4.2 on page 12, Development and Infrastructure Committee meeting minutes of November 7th. And this is the Rotary Club roadway renaming for adoption.
I'll move that for adoption.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Friesen?
Well, thank you, Your Worship. I support this. I'd just like to speak briefly in favor of it. The roadway change, the name of this roadway was already approved by council, so it's not a matter of even having to rename, but I'm aware that the Rotary Club celebrated their centennial year this last year, and I think it's going into this year as well, and this project is one of their ways of solidifying that very valuable name of Rotary in our community, and I think this is something that we should absolutely do. You know, they could have chosen a number of different roadways. This was their choice, and when we think about the significant contribution of this service club in our community over time, I think this is the least we can do to help them honor their name. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dumanowski.
Your Worship, just to build on Councillor Friesen's points, I said it at the committee level. The Rotary Club of Medicine, as it's known, has 100 years of history in this community and deserves the opportunity to bring recognition upon themselves, and in doing so, bring recognition to the community and allow the community to recognize them. So I'm very pleased to endorse this and support this wholeheartedly. I want to thank the Rotary Club of Medicine and all their membership over the 100 years for their hard work, their dedication to this community, and ultimately we look forward to the next 100. So well done.
Thank you, Councillor Hirsch.
Well, Your Worship, speaking in favor of the change of the name, the only caveat I'll put on there is obviously this is fairly precedence making. So understanding the contributions that all social clubs and service clubs contribute to Medicine Hat is invaluable. Especially the Rotary's contribution over the years, and I've been absolutely humbled with the fact that they've been asking me from time to time again to join them. Don't worry, folks, I'm coming. But recognizing the fact that there is the potential for other service clubs to potentially ask for that same consideration. So I'm just saying that we just need to understand that this is precedent setting, but I'm absolutely prepared to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Samraj.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is precedent setting. I think that's I think it's a good precedent to set. I think it is still not very well known among the community how much service clubs contribute to civic life here in Medicine Hat, and if this is one small way with it, we can show our appreciation for the work that this club has done for the city. I think it's well worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, if we could vote. That was unanimous. Thank you. Congratulations.
Our next item is item 4.3, page 17, energy minutes from November 8th, just for information.
I'll move the report for information.
I'll second that.
If we could vote. That was unanimous. Thank you.
Our next item is 4.4 on page 18, Corporate Services Committee meeting of November 13th. And this is the Notify Me Now information.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Councillor Friesen?
Well, Your Worship, we have in front of us discontinued use of Notify Me Now. And I know that, you know, we've had some briefing about this, but I think the people at home, it would be good if they heard an explanation. You know, we had a lot of presentations around Notify Me Now, why it was valuable, why it was of benefit to them. And now all of a sudden, we are saying, no, we're discontinuing the use of Notify Me Now. So unless you've read the council packet, you might be wondering why you phoned in or went in via various electronic means to register for Notify Me Now, and all of a sudden it's gone. So I don't know, maybe the CAO, you could just give us a brief overview of why this is happening?
Excuse me, through the chair to Councillor Friesen, I'll try to give you a bit of background on the why. Subsequent to the city signing on to the platform Notify Me Now and rolling it out to our community, the province undertook an effort to roll out a provincial emergency notification system. So that system has now been rolled out and tested, and we've evaluated their position to service our community with emergency notification and believe that they're in a very good position to do so. And so we think it's a prudent approach for us to back away from the Notify Me Now application. It served its purpose well for us at the point in time when there wasn't another provincial option available to us, but now that there is, we think this is the prudent approach to take.
Okay, follow-up if I could.
ahead.
So for people who registered to Notify Me Now, realizing that it would give them some advance notice of some pending emergencies, and there were qualifiers around that, what advantage will they have over what we had to offer them? Is it, you know, so how do they go about knowing that within their comfort level of being advised of an emergency?
Yeah, through the chair, the Notify Me Now application was subscription-based, so our residents would have to sign up for those notifications, and the provincial notification system is actually pushed through the cellular network. So we have, we believe, a better opportunity to probably get mass notifications out to our residents, whether or not they had subscribed to Notify Me Now in the past. Anybody with any cellular technology would receive the provincial-based notifications. So the Notify Me Now subscriptions that we've collected over the last couple of years are not being turned over. They will be destroyed. So there is no turnover of people's contact information to the provincial network. The province relies purely on the cellular network, and they have the ability to push notifications through that cellular broadband.
Thank you. Councillor Dumanowski.
Well, Your Worship, the only thing I was going to say is the Medicine Hat News did a great article post the committee meeting on this topic, so I think the public had lots of opportunity to learn about it, but I'm glad that the questions are being asked tonight. And just to add to what Commissioner Mastel said, and initially I had maybe some misunderstanding around the Alberta Emergency Alert System and its ability to really target an audience versus the Notify Me Now. I've come to understand that they do and have that ability, and as has been said, they can actually force, if you will, or push that information whether you like it or not. And I reflect on a visit I had in a state in the U.S. A couple of years ago with my family, and noticed that my phone had an unusual sound and alert, and unbeknownst to me, just because I was in the area, I was getting that very alert. So it does work very meticulously, and I think it'll allow for great dissemination of information. And we are relying, and I have some reservations around that, but we are relying thereafter on, or in concert with it, to work with the social media, which the platform is well used by the public. And I think we have a diverse set of platform now in our social media communications as well. So them working in concert with Alberta Emergency Alert will be a great complement for information. And just the last point, as I'm saying that, we have people within our community, within our organization here, who have the ability to access that alert system, so they actually are pushing that information out through that system. So we're not totally relying on somebody or some bureaucrat in Edmonton to agree to us. They have the ability within our city here to push out that information. So I think it'll be quite a good thing in the end.
Any other comments? Okay, call the question. That was unanimous, thank you.
My next item is item 4.5, page 22, Public Services Committee meeting minutes from November 13th, and this is the URAB Sports Wall of Fame recommendations for adoption.
I will move the report for adoption.
I'll second that.
Any comments?
If I could, Your Worship,
go ahead.
just briefly on this item, we're really pleased to bring forward 3 names tonight to occupy the other honorees on the Sports Wall of Fame. And those recommendations for those folks are based on a criteria that is vetted through URAB. And it's a fairly stringent criteria, really recognizing our community leaders in their successes or contributions, for that matter, to honoring sports. And their significant contributions across Medicine Hat, the community, and provincially, nationally, or perhaps internationally, but not always all of those things. And they represent a sustained ambassadorship, so it's not just a one-only kind of an event. These folks have been excelling in sports as leaders for a minimum of 10 years' experience in their field. So it's quite an honor to have your name put forward for recommendation. The folks who recommend these people put together a very comprehensive package of information to be considered. And so we're really happy to bring those forward tonight. And then later on, there will be a ceremony in their honor, and we'll let you know when that is, so that hopefully you can all attend.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, if we could vote. Councillor Sam Rogers didn't read. And that was unanimous, thank you.
Moving on now to reports for reception, item 5.1, page 26. You'll find the MPC meeting from October 10th.
I move this report for reception.
Second.
Comments? All right, we can call the question.
Could I ask a point of clarification?
Go ahead.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I should
Well,
have
what-
asked it earlier. If we vote for this report now in favor of this report, does it mean that development on Primrose goes ahead?
This is the 10th, October 10th. It's the previous.
Oh, it's okay. You scared me. All right, thank you. I'll vote.
Okay. And that was unanimous, thank you.
Okay, moving on to new bylaws, item 6.1, page 35. For first reading only, bylaw 4499, bylaw of the City of Medicine Hat to amend bylaw 4168, land use bylaw. This is the Primrose Drive property.
I move for leave to introduce bylaw number 4499, and that
the bylaw be read a first time.
Second.
If we could vote? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in favor, 3 against, so that passes. I'm just going to, for the people in the audience, this is only first reading. This is just part of the process to get this on the table. And the public hearing will be December 16th, December 17th, sorry, I keep saying 16th. And that is when you will have your opportunity to have a say at a public hearing, and council will be moving either forward or against this proposal. So thank you for coming out tonight, but by no means does first reading represent that this bylaw has been passed in any way. Okay? And
All right, next new bylaw, first reading only again, item 6.2, page 44, bylaw 4502, bylaw of the City of Medicine Hat to adopt the Riverside Area Redevelopment Plan.
I move for leave to introduce bylaw number 4502, and that the bylaw be read a first time.
Second.
if we could vote? Oh, you want a question? Yeah, this is just first reading. You okay? Yeah. And that was unanimous, thank you. Seeing no more business, yes.
I was going to ask for a point of privilege at the beginning of the
Okay,
meeting,
go
and I
ahead.
forgot about it. Over the past weekend here, the Medicine Hat Hockey Hounds held their 46th annual tournament in the city, where 16 teams came into the city. A team out of Vancouver ended up winning the championship. But I think for the members and for all the people that volunteer, I think the organization was built in the 1970. The Hockey Hounds organization, which is a group of 25 guys roughly in around that area that helps promote minor hockey within our community. And I think their work and their effort over those 48 years, I believe it is now, have come to be seen as maybe something that's a standard that just happens, and nobody gives them a whole bunch of credit a lot of times. So as a member, I'm going to try and push a little bit out there. 46 years is a long time to have a tournament involved in this area. It takes up 4 rinks. They actually have 400 hotel rooms booked during this weekend. It's not the only tournament that we host in town, or not that is hosted in town. We are a host city for lots of different communities in the area, or a lot of different sports in the area. But I want to give it out to the Hockey Hounds because they are a great organization. They still give money to minor hockey. They still do fundraising. They still do a lot of things within our community. Just on a side note, I actually played in their 3rd annual tournament way back when. So I just got to push that out there. I'm not that old, even though I look that old. But it was the 46th annual, and we're looking forward to getting it to that milestone of 50 years, which would be great for our club. Every year gets harder, but they seem to extend it every year. So for the Hockey Hounds, I'm glad that they keep doing what they're doing, and thankfully for all thanks for all the help that they do and the help that they get to put this tournament on. So kudos to the Hockey Hounds.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And seeing no more business before this council, we're adjourned.